Hi, my name's Tom Spurs. I'm an Englishman living in Excel, and I just wanted to talk a little bit about electricity and gas bill, specifically the gas bill, because that appears to have gone through the roof. So when I got my end of year account through, I was trying to understand how much I was actually paying for my gas. So on the screen, you can see that. Here's my bill open at a little piece here. And there are several numbers to look at. When you get your bill, you'll see perhaps numbers representing the actual price per unit of electricity. And you can see on my screen there, it's gone from 0.0286259, quoted to a millionth of a euro, and it's increased itself to 0.1231379, which when you work it out is 327%, if I've done my calculations right. Trying to work out how much you actually pay is slightly more difficult than that, because that is just the price for the gas that gets delivered. What you have to add to that are all the other things that they don't talk about so much or are easy to understand. That's all the other things: cost of distribution, transport systems, public services, charge du passé, whatever that means, taxes on the revenue, taxes on the remains, taxes on cotisation. Apparently you have to pay royalties, you have to pay for the functioning of the CREG, the regulator, you contribute to the social funds, you contribute to helping protected clients. So by the time you get to the bottom of all that, you actually have to add on round about 12% to the cost per unit of your gas that you're using. Now that isn't the most difficult part, because if you go and look at your gas meter, it doesn't give you a reading in units, and by units I mean the kilowatt hours. It gives you a measurement in meters cubed. So in an effort to try and understand how much we were actually paying now when we've got our central heating on, I've done a little bit of research, and that is what I'm going to explain in the next section of the video, how we work out how many kilowatt hours we've got if we spent a certain number of meters cubed of gas. So now on the screen you can see a little spreadsheet I've put together where I've collected together all the different parts of that detailed invoice from, in my case it's Luminous, and here you can see is the original price that Luminous had in the bill, 0.1231379, and I've gone down through all of the bits and pieces and taken out all of the other charges per unit, per kilowatt hour. So that means that instead of the 0.123 etc. that I see at the top of the bill, I'm actually paying 0.137708 by the time all those other pieces are added on. Now, your gas is delivered in meters cubed, and a meter cube of gas has a certain amount of heat in it when it burns, but that amount of heat varies, depends on the source of the gas, where it's come from, what pressure it's at. So the people who run the pipelines are regularly checking that, and they come up with an average amount of heat per meter cubed. And in the case of Luminous and my particular source, that is 10.2515, quoted to 4 decimal places, and that converts my price per tariff into how much I pay per cubic meter. So the conversion factor tells you how many kilowatt hours there are in 1 meter cubed of the gas that you get delivered. So that means that for every meter cube that I allow to come through when I've got my heating on, because I only use it for the central heating, I will pay 1.41 and a bit euros for each one of those. So over here I've made a little table so you can actually estimate how much you'd expect your bill to be per day. Clearly if it's 1 unit a day, it's going to be 141, 2 units 282, and so on. I'm finding at the moment that I'm spending between 1 and 2 a day. We've trained our bodies to be thinking that 19 degrees in the house is tropical, but as the winter gets colder, that's going to have to change. And here you can see the cost per month for using a certain number of cubic meters every day. And these numbers are quite high. Now, my numbers are for luminous, using my particular central heating system in my particular place where I live. But if you keep an eye on the meter where your gas comes in, you should be able to get a feel for how much you're going to use. And what I'm going to do is I'm just now going to add to this video a little real-time view of the meter moving when our central heating is on, just to give you some kind of concrete sense for how much money you could be spending on gas without realizing. I'll see you in a minute. So now I'm downstairs in the cellar, right next to my gas meter here, and you can see the gas here turning in real time. So my heating is just turned on with the thermostat, and you can see this end set of numbers. Those are actually litres of gas turning over, and this unit here, the meters cubed, is what you're actually paying for. So I'm just going to actually show you this run for 1 minute to show you how much gas has been drawn here. So you can see here, as we come up to 1 minute, the number of litres that have been drawn from the system. So you can do a little calculation just on the fact that I've got my central heating on and see what that number comes to. So now I can take those numbers and put them into a spreadsheet, which I've done up here. My start time I've chose 0.99, finish time 59.98. The meter had those numbers at the beginning and the end of that period. So the amount of time was 58.99 seconds. And in that amount of time, we used 19 litres of gas. 19 litres of gas, which translates into 1159 litres every hour, which when you divide by 1,000 gives you the number of cubic meters per hour, which when you multiply by the price per hour will give you how much you're actually using. So in this case, it's 1.64 per hour if I leave my heating running for an hour at a time. Clearly the thermostat turns it on and off, but it'll give you an idea. So if you're leaving your heating running for a certain number of hours a day, and you're using this number of cubic meters per day, here is a little chart showing you what you're likely going to spend in a month. So it's just to give you an idea, because every tariff is different, every house is different and so on. But I think it's important to realize just how much gas we use and we've taken for granted. So I hope you find that useful. If you want more information, you can contact me on the email address at the end of the video, and I'll put the spreadsheet file alongside the video as well. So take care.